my troopers popping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers popping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers.
Let's do this. My name is Mr. J3T, aka Big Sexy, aka the Kentucky Cannon, aka the World Class Badass, aka the Man of the Century, aka Chocolate Thunder with a Caramel Swirl, aka Black Lightning with a Peanut Butter Filling, aka Big Daddy Long, aka your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber, aka the cream of the crop. And today we're going to be talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So, Black Panther Wakanda Forever takes place during the aftermath of King T'Challa's death after he develops a mysterious illness. And we follow Wakanda as they have to move on without their king and their protector. Foreign lands, the Americans are trying to get their vibranium, but Wakanda won't let them. All meanwhile, while they have to deal with all these people trying to steal their vibranium, there's this other kingdom. This mysterious kingdom shows up, and this could lead to a war between this new kingdom and Wakanda. And that's about the gist of it. So, now, I'm still trying to decide if I like this movie more than I do the first one. I'll talk about that more near the end of this video, but what I will say now is that I gotta talk about it right off the bat. Angela Bassett as Ramonda and Letitia Wright. I think I probably didn't pronounce her name right, but Letitia Wright as Shuri. Both of them give great performances. They both give such great performances that I would argue that both of them should be nominated for an Oscar. They both give such great performances, especially Angela Bassett. There is one specific part in the movie where after Shuri goes missing, this mysterious kingdom that I'll talk about later, they abduct her, and she goes to the leader of the Jabari. They're not the Jabari, are they? But she talks to somebody, and she's just like, my entire family is gone. Have I not sacrificed enough? And it kind of got you a little bit. It got me a little bit. You could just hear her voice is trembling. She sounded like she was gonna cry. That was a really powerful performance. She did a extremely great job in this one. Don't get me wrong, all the actors in this movie did a great job, but Angela Bassett and Letitia Wright in particular, they both did phenomenal in this movie. Like I said before, those two should be nominated for Oscars for their performances in this movie because they were great in this. They really got you tugging on your heartstrings. Namor. We got Namor in the MCU now. Now, if you don't know who Namor is a villain / anti-hero in the comics. In the comics, he's the king of Atlantis, but in this movie, it's a little bit different. Namor and his people, they aren't Atlanteans, and they're not from Atlantis. They're from a kingdom called Talakan. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna pronounce that right. Talakan, something like that. I completely butchered the name of their kingdom. Don't come after me, Namor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for butchering your name. Don't come after me, Namor. But that's what they are. They're not Atlanteans in this movie, so it's kind of changed in the comics, but the gist of Namor is still the same. Like, he's the ruler of this kingdom filled with people that breathe underwater. Namor can breathe in water and in air. He has little wings on his ankles. He has these little cute little wings on his ankles that lets him fly. He's got super strength, and he has a particular distaste for the surface world, for us surface dwellers. And he is pretty good in this movie. The actor that plays him, he did a good job. You really, yeah, you get to see his motivations on why he does the things he does is to protect his kingdom and his people. And the whole reason how the entire conflict between forgive me, Talokan, oh my god, damn it. I can't pronounce that name. I can't pronounce that name to save my life. The Talokan and Wakanda, the whole reason how that conflict started was because, the foreign countries, they were searching for some vibranium, for that sweet, sweet vibranium, and they just so happened to find that vibranium on their turf. That's their turf. So Namor comes over to Ramonda and Shuri, and he's like, look, that's your vibranium. So technically this is your fault. So what you're going to do is that you're going to find the scientist who made the machine to find that vibranium and bring them to me, or I'm going to come here with my army, and we're going to have a bit of a tussle. We're going to have a bit of a kerfuffle. You choose. So Wakanda, the people of Wakanda obviously was like, okay, let's go find the scientist. And that's how the whole conflict between the two lands started. And he's very, like, I don't want to, yeah, I'll say it. He's a menace in this one. He can be very ruthless at times, but he can be ruthless when it comes to other people, but when he is with his people, his people, his tribe, his land, when it comes to the people of his land, his home, he shows more of a gentle side, because those are obviously his people. Fuck the ops, those are his people. So it was cool to see both sides. He can be a menace in this movie. The first time we see him in this movie, actually, he's grabbed a chopper by the little tail. He swung it around and then just threw it back in the ocean, and that was the first time we saw Namor in this movie, which immediately establishes him as a threat. And then throughout the whole movie, when the conflict eventually escalates and they go on full-out war, we see him take out Wakandan planes. We see him completely just punch the hell out of M'Baku's chest, sending M'Baku flying. He's a real. They did a great job building Namor up as a threat, or Namor, as he pronounces it, Namor. So Namor was cool in this one. I liked him. Now, before I get to the elephant in the room, I just want to rattle off other things that I liked. I like how the aesthetic for the Talokan, again, forgive me, the Talokan people, they're Namor's people. They're brown, and when they're on the surface, they're blue, They look like the creatures from Avatar. They're blue when they're on the surface, but when they're underwater, they're brown. I liked, I, I don't know, I kind of like that effect. I like the designs of the suits in this movie. I like the music. The music is always, when it comes to the music for these Black Panther movies, the music is always great. The music's always great. When there's a part in the beginning of the movie where these military, these mercenaries come break into like this Wakandan ship to try and steal that sweet, sweet vibranium, and the female guards come in and whoop all their asses. Uh, that the music in that scene is great. The scene where they bring the mercenaries to this courtroom where they're discussing business, and you just hear the music in the back. The music in the back in that particular scene was great. Yeah, this movie's good. And now let's talk about the elephant in the room. So this movie starts off with the funeral scene for T'Challa, and it's never explained as to what illness T'Challa had, but yeah, this movie starts off with T'Challa dying and going off with the ancestors, and yeah, I like the way they handled it. They did it respectfully. They gave T'Challa and Chadwick a good send off with that scene. It's a tearjerker. The it's sad, but in a way it's kind of I don't know how to describe it. Like it's sad, but the way they go about it, it's kind of had a upbeat feeling to it a little bit, because they, as they're carrying T'Challa's body in his tomb, everybody's singing and dancing. They're wearing all white, so it was, for a little bit, you kind of forget how sad it is, because it's the way they're dancing and celebrating, sending T'Challa off. It's kind of lit. Excuse me. The way they send T'Challa off, it's kind of lit. So, as for a second there, you kind of just like, yeah, let's go, rest in peace, Chad. But then it immediately goes back to like the serious somberness, and again, Latia Wright, her performance in that scene in particular is really great. Yeah, it's I had a mixed emotions with the first scenes. I had a mix of emotions. I felt sad, then I felt happy because of all the dancing and singing and all the hoopla, but then I felt immediately sad again when they raised T'Challa's tomb up in one of the Wakandan ships and they flew off. And then I felt even more sad when they did the Chadwick opening again. You know how they do the Marvel opening and they show us cuts of all these different movies. They did it again, but this time with Chadwick. And yeah, it's very respectful. They were very respectful with it. As for the decision to not recast Chadwick, I thought it was a good idea, since like it would have been too soon if they just recast T'Challa. It would have been too soon because the man just died, and it's not like he had problems before, like he was a drug addict or an alcoholic, and everybody knew it would eventually happen. Nobody knew at all what Chadwick was going through. That man still continued to do movies while going through chemotherapy, so nobody knew. It caught everybody off guard. So it would have been a little insensitive if they would have recasted Chadwick immediately after his death. It would have been a little insensitive and it would have been rushed. So them deciding to just kill off T'Challa, uh, it was good. It was a good move. And besides, going off the ending of this movie, they're already thinking ahead to the future. Like, I'm not gonna say what happens at the end of this movie, but all I'm gonna say is stick around for like the mid credits after like the first credit scene, with the graphics. Stick around after that, and you'll see where they're going with Wakanda and Black Panther from here going forward. I like how they did it. I I see you, Marvel. You silly little sausages. I see what y'all did there. So I like how they set it up. I like how they set up uh, Black Panther and going forward in this movie. But it was very respectful to T'Challa. Uh, it's very respectful to Chadwick, and yeah, just again, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace. Okay. Ugh. Now that all the sad part, now that the elephant has officially been talked about, let's talk about something that I didn't really like about this movie. So the new Black Panther in this movie, I'm not gonna say who it is because some people have different interpretations. Some people were talking about who's the Black Panther in this movie. I thought we all knew who the new Black Panther was gonna be, judging off how skinny the person in the Black Panther suit was. So I thought we all knew who it was gonna be, but some people thought it was gonna be the Queen herself, Ramonda, I believe her name. I believe I pronounced. Did I say that right? Forgive me. I may be butchering everybody's names in this video. I'm ass when it comes to pronouncing stuff, but Ramonda, people thought it was going to be the Queen Ramonda. So, for that fact, I'm not going to say who it is, but you see it in the trailer. You see how skinny the person in the Black Panther suit is. So, yeah, that's the problem that I have that's the big problem that I have with this movie, is that person is way too skinny. If that person would have bulked up a little bit, that would have been great. It would have been more believable, because the Black Panther in this movie and Namor, they have a bit of a tussle. They have a bit of a kerfuffle. And as they're fighting, it's the Black Panther in this movie has super strength, but even with the super strength, it's this is unbelievable. This person is way too skinny. And now that I'm thinking about it, when this Black Panther and Namor fight, Namor for the most part is whooping this Black Panther's ass for the most part, and the Black Panther has to get creative as to how to beat Namor. They brought Namor to the desert, where he doesn't have water, but even then, at a huge disadvantage, Namor is still whooping this Black Panther's ass. So I guess in that part, in retrospect, they acknowledged the fact that if in a straight one-on-one fight, Namor would win. But yeah, even with that, it's just this Black Panther, she's way too skinny. It kind of took you it kind of took me out the movie a little bit to see this Black Panther fight Namor, and earlier, before their fight, she arm wrestles Umbaku, and she's beating him, and yeah, it's, again, she has super strength, but you see those arms on this Black Panther, like the arms can, yeah, it's just it took me out the movie a little bit. It's a little, it's not a deal breaker for this movie, but it kind of took me out a little bit. The CGI, while mostly good, there were parts where you could tell it's fake. That also kind of took you out the movie a little bit. For the most part, the CGI is great, but there are certain parts where it's like, yeah, they could be polished up a little bit. But that was just a nitpick. All these aren't deal breakers. The movie is still really good, but yeah, just little things here and there. Now, as for how I feel about this movie, overall, it's a really good movie. I like it. I don't think I like it more than the first one, though. The first one is really good, and while this one is also really good, I don't think it's as good as the first one. So I think I still like the first one, but don't get me wrong, this movie is still really, really good. I give it 2 thumbs up. With a J3T stamp of approval. Why not? Sure. I'll give it the full treatment. So it's a really good movie, some great performances, great fight scenes, and a very emotional opening. So, and it's very respectful to Chadwick. Now, go watch it. Just go watch it. But that's about it. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. But if you really, 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 and I mean really, really like me, then consider subscribing and ring that bell so you always know whenever I upload, because it is free. It is free. Free. Don't be a dum-dum. Subscribe today. Deuces.